Hey everybody, it's me, Vivi, and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome to this circle show. Please subscribe if you would like to continue seeing these videos. And if it's not your first time here, thanks for coming back. I don't know why you came back, but I'm really grateful you came back. I love having you here. Thanks. So today I wanted to talk about a more serious topic. It's a topic I'm sure a lot of females and maybe even a percentage of males could relate to, but I think it's more prominent in females. Let me know down below if I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna be talking about, oh shoot, my fan is on. Wow, I shook my whole bench. Today's video I'm gonna talk about a time that I was harassed or pestered at, just I felt uncomfortable at a bus terminal. And I will say which bus terminal it is because I feel like if you have a similar experience or if you have the potential to go through this similar experience, I want to help you out and let you know to be aware. I was at the Belize City bus terminal and it was very uncomfortable for me. So I'll give you a rundown of what happened. I had to go to Belize City. I'm not from Belize City. I had to go to Belize City to get some letters that I had ordered from my old school. And then I obviously can't spend the night there. So I was on my way back. It's already like noon. It was a little bit before 5 o'clock. I know this because I used to take that 5 o'clock bus. So I went to the bus terminal and I was walking in. And from when I walked in, I saw this worker at the terminal just look at me in this very weird way. It was a way that made me really uncomfortable. He's like so much more taller than me, as just being a bigger person than me, and on top of that being a man, I automatically just knew he would be stronger than me. I just felt like I was not in a position to just like, tell off somebody, because if there's a little drunk man back home who's like catcalling me, I usually tell them off. But this, you can't just do that when you're not at an advantage in some way. So yeah, I was walking into the bus terminal and this guy looks at me and he's just like staring me down the entire way that I'm walking. And the way the bus terminal is set up, there's an entrance where you walk in, and then there's this indoor side that has a bunch of vendors and shops around it, and there are also benches in the middle to sit on and wait inside before your bus arrives. And then there's another door at the end of this inside area where you walk to the outside that is like a porch looking area, and it also has vendors at the back. And then there's a gate to enclose this entire outside waiting area, and outside of the gate, that's where the buses come in. And if you live in Belize, hopefully you know what I'm talking about, the layout. But yeah, so I had to get from the initial entrance to this part that I could go to see when my bus arrives. And from when I stepped in, the entire walk up to when I went to the outside waiting area, this guy was just staring at me, and I could feel his eyes at me. And at some point I even like kind of sideways just to see like, am I just being paranoid, because I do get paranoid sometimes. And no, he was looking at me. And then I sat down in front of one of the vendors and close to some other people, but not too close because I'm still wary of people snatching my stuff. And then like I see this guy at the corner of my eye. He walks over to me, and he's walking over and he's staring me down the whole time. And then he sits next to me and he's just like, hey. And I say, good afternoon, because I want to remain neutral. I don't want to be like sassy and be like, no, talk to me. I just wanted to be respectful, but I also wanted to bring across the message like, hey, I don't really want to talk to anybody right now. I just want to be left in peace waiting for my bus. And it's not like I was in a bad mood or anything that day. It's just that if you're a woman, you know this feeling. You know that sometimes you just don't have a good feeling and you don't want to be talked to by somebody. There's a misconception that, oh, women need to give a reason for why they don't want to talk to you or blah blah blah. No, when a lady says, or a woman says, or anybody for that matter, but mostly when women say, could you please leave me alone, they don't have to give you a reason. And don't feel bad for not giving somebody a reason why you don't want to talk to them. And that goes for anybody out there. If you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody, you don't need to give them a reason why you don't want to talk to them. Anyways, I was respectful. I was like, good evening. He was just like, hey, so you're not from Belize City, right? And I already don't like that leading question, because why do you need to know that I'm not from here? As a stranger, felt uncomfortable. He's like, where are you from? And I just said some, like, because I can't lie and say I'm from Orange Walk and then I go on a bus that's going to Benke. Like, it's not, I can't say I'm from up north and I get on a bus that's going west. So I just listed off whatever village that's on my bus route that's not actually my town. He was like, you to go on kind of shy, man. Where you to act so friend and you look so pretty, why you not smile a little bit? And I hate that when people I'm sorry, I'm really passionate about this, but I hate when people like smile, no? Or when a man especially would come up to you as a woman and be like, oh, you know, you'd be prettier if you smiled. So what? So what if I would be prettier if I smiled? I'm not here to look pretty for anybody. I'm here because of whatever reason I'm here for. I'm not going to smile for you. Yeah, and I cold shoulder. This guy is like so close to me, and then he scoots closer to me. I was on this side and he just like scoots closer. He's like, yeah, well, you too shy, man. You sound like one of them gal from them village for real. So again, he's telling me I should smile more. He's been stalking me since I walked into this place, and now he's saying that women act differently depending on where they're from. So he's going into this stereotype that gal from village, girls from village act shy or act bushy. We call it back home act bushy, but that's not true, because it's just not true. That's not how human character works. Anyways, so then he ends up like being like, you know what, something for drink? I could buy you something for drink, no? And then he looks back at the vendor that I was sitting in front of and he's like, my boy, how much for this and that? And like he's asking the vendor for like the prices. And then I just turned to him and I'm like, no thanks. And he's like, you not thirsty? I'm like, no, I'm not thirsty. And he's like, but you look tired. I see how you made it walk in with your bag. Look heavy. And I'm just like, no, I'm good. And then he's like, you don't want to talk to me? I'm like, no, I really don't want to talk. I just want to stay to myself. I just want to be by myself. And then he's like, oh, you must have got a boy too. And in that moment,
I had to control
every bit of my being inside me, because if you've ever catcalled me, you would know that I have a very sharp tongue and I do not like to take from strangers. I do not like to take any of that. Yeah, I'm reliving the feelings. There's a point in your life as a female when you realize that a lot of your worth, according to society, is based on who you're with. People are talking really loud outside. There's a point in your life as a woman, at least from what I've seen and heard and my personal experience, where you realize that people don't take you seriously because of your gender, and people don't take you seriously unless you're standing next to a big strong man, whether it be a father figure, your grandpa, uncle, or your boyfriend. They don't take you seriously unless the person, that male figure next to you, is telling them to take you seriously. And that really upsets me. Let me tell you what I had to do. I had to tell this guy, like, yeah, I do have a boyfriend. And I hate that that was my only escape from having this A-word stop talking to me. I hate that that is the only thing that a lot of women could do, is say that they have a boyfriend or a man in their life that could come and defend them if you were to cross that line. Whether or not I had a boyfriend at the time shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. If I say I don't want to talk to you and I'm in a vulnerable position, you should just back off. That's just how it should be. And I had to be like, yeah, I do have a boyfriend. That wasn't enough for this guy either. He was like, oh, but he not black too. He not must be just one of them village boy, not true. my guy, leave me alone. And I feel so mad that I can't publicize this to the whole world, to the entire every girl in Belize, to stay away from this guy. Why does the race of a person matter? Like, he already hears, okay, I have a boyfriend. Usually that's enough to deter these kinds of people from talking to you and being very aggressive, because I haven't even begun to describe his body language. His body language was keeping, like, coming closer to me, and like every time he sways, he would sway closer to me, and I was just trying really hard. Like, at some point I was probably like, my seat was here, but my body was like at a 45-degree angle away from him. So I already told him I have a boyfriend, and he then proceeds that, oh, but your boyfriend probably isn't black, he's better, and that how, like, yeah, just trying to make sure that my boyfriend isn't a threat to him, like if he were to do something to me or to go ahead and pursue me. And I had to do something that I hate playing into stereotypes. So I already had to play into the stereotype that a girl is only worth backing off of if she has a boyfriend, and now I have to play into the next stereotype, and I had to say, yeah, he's black, I have a black boyfriend. And he's like, nah, but do the play, right? And I'm like, no, what else you want? My man no want make I talk to nobody like you. So I had to straight up say that my man doesn't want me talking to any other man, and he's black. I don't have a problem with dating black people. Like, that's not the point here. The point is that this guy is playing on so many problematic stereotypes that I have a problem with. So what does the race of a person have to do with who they're dating? Second of all, why does it matter if I'm dating somebody that, like, I hate that I had to say that a man doesn't want me to speak, so you should back off because I don't want to disrespect my man. And that shouldn't be the case. I should be able to say, I don't have a boyfriend. And if I did have a boyfriend, I should be able to say, I do have a boyfriend, but I don't want to talk to you. And that should be enough. But in this world that we live in, that's hardly ever enough. You have to say, I have a boyfriend, and my boyfriend doesn't want me to talk to you. I could have easily said, yeah, I do have a boyfriend, but I don't want to talk to you. But that wouldn't have gotten this guy to stay away from me, because I've dealt with people like him before, and I could tell more stories like that on this channel if I ever feel like it. But I just wanted to share this and to let all the women, I just wanted to let all the women out there know that this happens way more often than you would think. It's not just happening to you, and it's not just happening to conventionally attractive people. It happens to almost every single woman out there who was just in a vulnerable position. Because this guy saw me walk into the bus terminal with a heavy bag. He saw me, like, struggle to put the bag off of my shoulder. He saw that I was a small person. I'm very tiny, and I had no muscle. Like, right now I'm stronger than I was back then. And he saw me, like, struggling to take this bag off of me, and he saw the way, like, I would flop down on the chair because I was so damn tired. I had sweat on my brow. I was just, he could have seen everything. And that's usually when they target you, when you're at your weakest, or when they perceive you're at your weakest. And I felt like I had to come on camera and tell you, yeah, I had to go through that too. And it just bothers me that our only escape sometimes is depending on a man or a boyfriend or an imaginary man in your life to deter these kinds of strangers. And let me know if you've ever gone through this in your life. And yeah, if you have any questions, say them down below and I'll answer them. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I really like that I could just talk into the camera for this. So this is the first time I didn't find it hard to talk to the camera. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, dislike this video if you didn't like it, because I need to know what you like and what you don't like. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Hey, it's me again. I just wanted to answer some questions that people in real life had, like when I told the story to my friends. I guess most of the friends that I told it to were male, so it would be harder for them to understand. So here we go. I just wanted to say that there were people around when I was going through this, but a majority of them were males, and they didn't act like they saw that I was uncomfortable, and I didn't feel like I could go and just ask for help, because at that point, what do I say I'm asking for help with? Like, it's not a criminal offense to talk to people, and police don't take you seriously when you say like, hey, I got a creepy vibe. Like, most of the time they're like, oh, we can't just take evidence from a creepy vibe. And also, I couldn't go to the terminal workers because I frequent this terminal, right? I used to live in the city for 2 years while I was going to school there, and every week I would go to the terminal, so I know all the workers. Like, I've seen their faces, I know their faces, and yeah, at this point I know that they're close-knit group, I guess. So I couldn't go to another terminal worker and ask for help, because that's their friend that's bothering me in the first place, and all the terminal workers are male as well, so I didn't feel comfortable. All the shop vendors were men as well, and the only women who were there were probably other passengers or bus passengers who were waiting for a bus as well. And I couldn't find help, and in those moments you just can't think at your best because there was so much pressure. Also, something that I didn't mention, or I did mention it but I had to cut out, was that I did distance myself from the guy, or try to at least, many times. I would get up, I'd stand, I'd act like I was watching the stuff in the shops, and he would still follow me and like stand close to me and try and still talk to me. And that's actually the reason why he offered to buy me a drink, because I was pretending to look at the shops, like, oh look, I might want to buy something. And I was extremely tired from walking with my heavy bag, that I couldn't stand with my bag long enough, and it's not a place where I could just leave my bag near a bench and walk away. So I was tired, and I did try and distance myself, and he would still stand close to me. And the reason I couldn't be like, oh, I am going up north and just get on a different bus, is because I know that I have to go back to that terminal, and I don't know if this guy is crazy or extremely more aggressive than he was letting off. Like, I don't know this guy's psyche. So I go to this bus terminal a lot because it's the safest place to, like, very ironically, it's the safest place to get a bus in the city, at least in my opinion. And I couldn't say that I'm going up north and then get on a west bus line, because next time I go there, what if he's there and he's like, I saw you get in this west bus line, and now I know where you're going and why you lie, and blah, blah. I don't know. I was just scared, so I had to lie and say a different village that was on the same route. And just because I ended the video saying that I said I had a black boyfriend and then he backed off, doesn't mean like he backed off from talking, like from disturbing me. He still was disturbing me after I said I had a black boyfriend. He didn't talk to me. He didn't try questioning me anymore after I said that. He just would stand like literally a foot away from me. I said like, oh, I have a boyfriend and he wouldn't want me talking to you. And I gave him a little bit of sass because I didn't want to get beat in the bus terminal. But yeah, he would just be like, oh, and then he stood there. He stood next to me the entire time until I got on the bus that I had to go on. And I saw him from the bus, inside the bus where I was sitting. I saw him stand there and wait until the bus was backing out of the parked area. So yeah, I was really scared when it was happening, and now I could look back at it and like just really be pissed. But back then I was terrified, and I couldn't think straight. I'm pretty sure there are things that I could have done better, things that self-defense teachers and people would probably frown upon, but I tried to do the best that I could with what I had. And yeah,